Like most people, I first began experiencing symptoms when I was in high school. It was my junior year. I was tail end of 16, almost 17, and it manifested first as depression. In my case, it's closely related to the fact that I also have seasonal affective disorder. So I cycle seasonally. And that winter of my junior year, it was really bad. I was a music student at a arts high school in Champaign, Illinois, where I was living in a dorm. And I began the year doing very well. And by the end of the year, I couldn't even perform in a recital. I couldn't even learn a piece because I was not able to focus or concentrate. And that only made the depression worse. The following year, I became very isolating and began self-harming during that depression, which lasted the entire winter and into the spring. And I wasn't afraid to ask for help. I asked for help. I just did not receive the right kind of help. In retrospect, it would have been nice if the social worker I was seeing asked me specifically, what is hurting you so much? Because in my case, as in many people's case, my emotional issues triggered a lot of my depressed symptoms and then later manic symptoms. And it could have been less severe, I think, had those emotional issues been addressed. I was in and out of the hospital, psychiatric hospitals, for over 25 years. And that makes me angry because I don't think it should have taken any longer than maybe 1 or 2 years to get me stable. It's not that hard. I did not receive compassionate care. I suffered a lot of abuse, emotional and psychological abuse, some physical abuse in psychiatric hospitals, both private and government run. And that lengthened the process of becoming well because I was so traumatized that it magnified my symptoms. So I became more severely manic. My behavior was more objectionable to people, and back in the hospital I went every year for almost 30 years. I ended up in the care of a doctor who gave me credit for having a good mind. Despite the fact that I had this mental disorder, he recognized that I was very good at self-analysis, and I was also very good at knowing my meds. So he gave me the freedom to participate in my mental health care and gave me the respect that I had not gotten from most other doctors. For intelligence and this talent and this ability for self-knowledge. And he allowed me to participate in the decision-making process regarding what meds I was on, how many milligrams, what time of year I needed them. And together we were able to come up with a very simple plan. I have a son who just turned 12, and for the past probably 30 years, I've always been planning on writing a book. I've got 3 or 4 books up here that are going to be written one day. I've been holding back on my advocacy plans because my son was very young and had ADHD and some bullying issues too, and I didn't want to add to that. I wasn't sure what kind of attention I'd get, so I wanted to make sure he was grown enough that he could handle it. And I feel that we're all ready now for me to step forward and be a voice for people who have been denied their voice, because that always happens. When you receive a diagnosis of mental illness, you're not taken seriously. And you're not allowed to speak, and everything you say is either laughed at or scoffed at or disregarded. I won't have that anymore. I'm going to step forward and I'm going to be that voice.